From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
More deadly violence across the Circle City this weekend. This is a look at where it's happening, and we'll get a reaction from the leaders. Thousands of IPS students returned to the classroom today. How students are preparing to return to a sense of normalcy. And President Trump continues his path to recovery after contracting the coronavirus. We'll get the latest details on his health. But before we get to our top stories today, we want to thank you for joining us this Monday morning on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Alyssa Donovan is in for Todd Clausen this morning. Alyssa, it's great to see you. Boy, when I was in my car this morning, I had my scarf on and I thought, whoa, it's cold. And I looked up and it was in the 30s.
Yes, a big change today. I'm bringing with me some very chilly temperatures this morning. We are in the 30s across the area, 32 right now in Greenfield. It's 36 in Indianapolis, a couple cooler temperatures to the north and west. And that's where we are seeing a frost advisory in effect this morning because we do have the potential of that frost developing. We have high pressure in control right now, clear skies overnight, and those cooler temperatures helping with that frost development in some of those areas. So a frosty, cool start to the morning. The good news is we are going to see those clear skies throughout the day and calm winds, which means we're going to warm up very quickly. Maybe a few clouds very early this morning, and then we are going to see those clear skies mostly by this afternoon. 62 degrees for the high. We'll continue warming up and staying dry for the rest of the week. I'll have those details in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Here is a picture right now from what happened earlier this morning. The Clinton County troopers there at the scene of a semi-fire on I-65. It's in the southbound lanes near mile marker 154. Troopers have the southbound lane closed at this time, so you'll need to seek an alternate route. They do have several departments assisting there, and we can tell you that you will need to get off the interstate, at least by State Road 28. Again, all those lanes on I-65 southbound are closed, so if you're in the Lafayette area trying to head southbound this morning or areas to our northwest, this will impact your commute. We'll continue to monitor this throughout the morning and let you know when lanes reopen. Now to another violent weekend here in Indianapolis. 4 people killed just in 24 hours and at least 9 others shot. The latest act of deadly violence all happening 8:30 last night on the east side. Police telling us that a man was found dead there in the 3000 block of Forest Manor Avenue. That's near 30th and Sherman. A woman who's believed to be an innocent bystander. She was also shot in the arm. She is expected to be okay. And just hours before that, investigators say 27-year-old James Upshaw, 32-year-old Juan Riviera, and 33-year-old Shayna Jones were shot to death when gunfire broke out in a parking lot of the Grand nightclub on Massachusetts Avenue near Ritter Avenue. Shortly after that shooting, 4 other shooting victims walked into Community East. They are expected to survive. Late Sunday night, we received this statement from City County Councilor Keith Graves, who represents the district. He says in part, quote, "While we grieve for those injured and killed in this horrific event, I want to state in the clearest terms possible that this dangerous, irresponsible behavior is not representative of the residents of District 13. He went on to say that the events of last night will not deter our residents or our partners at IMPD East District from the efforts to create safe, welcoming neighborhoods in District 13, end quote. Well, right now, there is no suspect or motive or information in either of those shootings. So if you have any information that can help police solve these crimes, you can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. The time right now is 4:33. We can tell you thousands of IPS students are heading back to the classroom for the first time since March this week. Students in pre-K through 3rd grade start today. Next week, grades 4 through 12 will return. We talked to one parent who said this feels like getting back to a sense of normalcy.
I think that it will be good for them, both mentally and academically, to get back into the classroom, get back into schools, have some sort of structure. They're excited to go back and be in the classroom and see their teachers and see their friends, see their acquaintances. I think one of my kids said the other day that they're excited to go back and even see the kids that they don't necessarily get along with. Like they're just excited to go back and see everybody.
Well, Smith says that she's also glad IPS didn't rush to bring the students back to the classroom too soon. Coming up here at 5 o'clock, we're taking a look how the district is keeping those kids who are returning to the classroom safe. Students in Hamilton Southeastern schools will also head back to the classroom today. The district's phased reopening plan calls for kindergarten through 4th grade students to begin on-site learning 5 days a week. HSE has a 3-phase plan to reopen its school buildings. The plan goes from all virtual learning to a hybrid schedule to full-time in-person learning. Families there can choose to stay with the all-virtual learning during the last 2 phases. It's still unclear when grades 5 through 12 could return to the classroom at 100%. The soonest that would be possible, per the district's plan, is mid-October. Wishing all those students the best of luck today. This morning, growing outrage over President Trump's impromptu visit with supporters. On Sunday, he broke his quarantine at Walter Reed Hospital to do a drive-by for the fans outside of the military hospital. You can see him here in the back seat waving and wearing a mask, but health experts say that he's likely still contagious. The CDC says any movement of a hospitalized COVID patient outside their room should only be done for medically essential purposes, and a Walter Reed attending physician blasted the stunt.
The idea that this would be cleared without any medical indication is absurd. Masks or no masks, being inside a vehicle that is hermetically sealed circulates virus inside and potentially puts people at risk.
In a tweet, Phillips also said that every person involved in the drive-by should quarantine for 14 days. But the White House released a statement saying appropriate precautions were taken. Meanwhile, Joe Biden tested negative Sunday, as did his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, who's scheduled to debate Vice President Mike Pence this Wednesday. As President Trump continues treatment for COVID-19, we're learning a little bit more about one of the medications he's receiving. It's called Regeneron. Our Rafael Sanchez spoke with a doctor at St. Vincent Health who has a patient receiving the medication to find out a little bit more about the treatment and when it could become available.
Doctor, what is Regeneron? Is it a pill? Is it a shot? Is it a juice? What is it?
So it's actually a monoclonal antibody, which is not really a new science product. I mean, we've been using monoclonal antibodies for a very long time in medicine. This particular product is an antibody which identifies a piece of the virus that is very specific. And it's felt that that piece of the virus is required for that virus to cause problems. So we infuse this particular product over about an hour, and it then hopefully finds the virus, binds to it, and then neutralizes. That's why you hear the term neutralizing antibody.
What is the timeline then for Regeneron? What are we looking at? Are we still weeks, months, or years from this becoming sort of an official treatment?
Yeah, so that's an incredibly important question, and I think we can use a little bit of remdesivir precedent to answer that. I think as we go through trials, we have interim analysis, and Regeneron is no different. If the data looks fantastic, you may have accelerated access, and by that I mean expanded authorization to use it outside of a clinical trial, exactly what happened with remdesivir.
Ascension St. Vincent now has 15 people enrolled in this trial who are having good outcomes so far. So now we want to take a look at how the pandemic is affecting people right here in our state. 1,096 new cases are being reported by the state health officials. That brings the total number of positive cases to 125,146. State health officials also report 5 new deaths. Since the first case of the virus were reported in March, 3,447 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. As health officials voice concerns about a possible twindemic with COVID-19 and influenza, we're keeping a really close eye on Indiana's hospital preparedness levels. We remain in good shape with more than 80% of the ventilators still available for use. Just over 3% of those are being used by COVID patients. About 36% of ICU beds are still available. That's slightly down from last week. Just under 13% of the beds are being used by COVID-19 patients. Around 52% are being used by non-COVID patients. At 4:38, to encourage people to get their flu shots, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and Marion County Public Health Department Director Dr. Virginia Kane, they're helping to launch the Sleeve Up campaign. The effort is in partnership with the Eskenazi Health Window of Health program and the Consulate of Mexico in Indianapolis. It's focused on educating the community about the importance of the flu vaccine during the COVID-19 pandemic. As part of the campaign, both Mayor Joe Hogsett and Dr. Kane will be receiving flu shots. The campaign kicks off at 9 o'clock this morning at the Consulate of Mexico in Indianapolis. It's located on Southeast Street. A Fort Wayne man who lost his eye during a protest is now suing the city and police. Just after the break, what he's demanding from city leaders there. Wildfires in California have left behind historic destruction. Up next, we'll take a look at just how much damage has been done. Alyssa.
And we have a chilly start today as those kids head out to the school bus stop. You're going to want to bundle them up if they are heading to school, and then you don't need that jacket later today. 62 degrees for the high. We'll continue warming up as we head through the week. I'll have those details coming up.
Welcome back. Early voting in Indiana begins tomorrow, and it's not just the president you'll be voting for, but a new attorney general as well. Republican candidate Todd Rokita will take on Democratic challenger Jonathan Weinstein as incumbent AG is ousted. Weinstein is the former mayor of Evansville. He served 5 years in the General Assembly and most recently as the chancellor of Ivy Tech Community College in Evansville. We got a chance to sit down with him to talk about why he thinks he's the best fit for attorney general. Here's what he had to say.
These are some real challenging times for Hoosiers, and I think what they're looking for is leadership, whether that's Democrat, Republican, but someone who can work across the aisle and is going to focus on getting things done. And frankly, that is my entire experience as chancellor and as mayor of the city.
Well, you can see our entire interview with Mr. Weinstein as well as our interview with his opponent, Todd Rokita. It's all online at WRTV.com. And here's some important dates you'll want to keep in mind. Today is the last day to register to vote in Indiana. Early voting starts tomorrow. The deadline to request an absentee ballot is October 22nd. It must be received by noon on Election Day, which is November 3rd. Let WRTV be your central source for what you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when it starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. The time right now is 4:44. New developments this morning in the Harvey Weinstein case. The disgraced movie mogul is facing new charges in California. The Office of Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey announced 6 new sexual assault charges against Weinstein. According to Lacey, the incidents happened over a decade ago. Charges include the rape of 2 women at different times between 2004 and 2010. The 68-year-old is now facing 11 total counts in L.A. He's currently in custody in New York and will face extradition hearing on December 11th in Buffalo. If convicted, Weinstein could face up to 140 years to life in state prison. Attorneys for Breonna Taylor's family are asking the governor of Kentucky to appoint a new special prosecutor to reopen the investigation into her death. Taylor was shot and killed back in March during a botched drug raid. The request comes after the public release of 15 hours of recordings of a 3-day grand jury hearing. The only criminal charges were against former Louisville Metro Police officer Brett Hankinson. He's charged with wanton endangerment for firing into the neighboring apartment. Taylor's family's attorneys say that State Attorney General Daniel Cameron did not serve as an unbiased prosecutor and claim he intentionally did not present homicide charges against the 3 officers that fired their weapons the night Taylor was killed. The governor has not yet responded to that request. A Fort Wayne man who lost his eye during the protests over Breonna Taylor's and George Floyd's deaths suing the city now and a police officer. 21-year-old Balin Brake filed a federal lawsuit claiming this injury, quote, has permanently changed his life and led to mounting medical bills. Brake spoke to our sister station, ABC 21, about what happened that day.
Really, my memory is vague of the actual canister. I remember turning around and I remember it hitting me and then me flying back. And that's what replays in my head over and over again when I think about it. I don't have much more.
In addition to seeking punitive damages and attorney's fees, Brake says he wants an apology from the mayor of Fort Wayne.
You need to come out here and face your people. You need to apologize for what happened. I want you to look me in my eye and say that you're sorry. I want you to look me in my eye and say that you still stand by the police and what they did.
Fort Wayne police say that the injury was unintentional, and they claim that Brake bent over to pick up and allegedly throw the canister. Brake refutes that claim. He also says he won't stop protesting until he sees change. At 4:47, let's go to California now, where the state's fire agency says blazes like these have burned well over 4 million acres so far this year. In an update on Sunday, CAL FIRE says more than 16,000 firefighters are battling 23 major blazes plus smaller fires. They say at least 31 people are dead because of this year's wildfires, and about 100,000 had to evacuate. More than 8,000 structures are in ashes, and California's wine country is decimated. The SCU and LNU lightning complex fires were some of the largest blazes in state's history before firefighters contained them. Back here at home, a cool start to our Monday. Alyssa Donovan has the details.
That's right. Temperatures right now in Indianapolis, 36 degrees, feels a little bit more like 32 degrees. We have a very light westerly wind right now, but for the most part, we are seeing calm conditions and clear skies overnight. It brought our temperatures way down, about 16 degrees cooler this morning in Indianapolis than we were at this time yesterday. 20 degrees cooler down in Terre Haute and Bloomington. So a very chilly start today. The good news is this isn't going to be the trend for the week. This is going to be just today, and then we are going to warm up for the rest of the week. But you can really see that cold air that's plunged down from Canada right now over the Midwest, bringing us those cooler temperatures. That's going to change as we head into the afternoon. We are going to start warming back up. But we do have this frost advisory that we're starting with today. That's in effect until 9 a.m. this morning because we do have that potential for some frost developing, especially over those northwest and westerly counties where we are seeing those temperatures closer to that freezing mark right now this morning. Have that potential of that frost developing because of those cooler temperatures, and also we've had those clear skies overnight. High pressure is in control right now. We're going to continue to see clear skies throughout the day. Could see a few high clouds filter through this morning, but for the most part, we'll see those clear skies and sunny skies by the afternoon. And that's good news for us warming up today. That will help us warm up very quickly. So even though we are starting cool, we'll warm up quickly. So that high pressure is going to continue moving off to the east, and then we are going to see our southwest flow move in tomorrow. That will bring us more mild air for the rest of the week. So we're going to jump about 10 degrees by tomorrow afternoon compared to what we're seeing today. So we are starting today. Temperatures will only be into the low 60s this afternoon, and then we will jump into the low 70s by Tuesday, upper 70s by Wednesday, and we'll continue to be pretty average as we head towards the weekend, and then we're close to 80 this weekend again. So quite a range when it comes to temperatures. This is going to be the coolest day in the forecast. Temperatures are starting in the 30s this morning. You might want that warmer jacket as you head out the door. You won't need it this afternoon. 62 degrees for our high. Plenty of sunshine, light winds below average throughout the day. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, 72 tomorrow. So we just have to get through this cooler temperature today, and then we warm back up. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit breezy as we see those winds shift out of the southwest. The good news is that will help usher in that warmer air, and then we are going to see those temperatures continue to climb really each day until Wednesday. We are up into the upper 70s, and we'll continue to see plenty of sunshine, and then we'll start to cool down a little bit on Friday. That's when we see just a quick system move through that will bring us a little bit more cloud coverage, and then looking like a really nice weekend ahead. Those temperatures really close to average with partly to mostly sunny skies.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this morning. Taking you over here to the northwest side, I-465 and I-865. Cameras freezing up just a little bit on us here, but everything is traveling up to speed in all directions there in the dogleg. No issues to slow you down. Of course, we'll continue to keep a close eye on traffic as you're heading out on the roads this morning and let you know if there are any trouble spots you need to avoid. Live music back in Marion County. Up next, we talk to one establishment about how the eased restrictions are helping to boost business. Neighbors in Broad Ripple raising concerns about safety in their community. Coming up at 5 o'clock, how one organization working with police to stop this reckless behavior. It's 4:51. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, with Marion County easing some restrictions, live music is returning to restaurants and bars across the area. So we visited Binkley's Kitchen and Bar on North College Avenue. After the Colts win, the band Touch of Grass played out on the patio. We talked with both the manager and a member of the band about the importance of finally being able to have live music during the pandemic.
We miss helping out the people that we help out. I mean, there's a reason that we do this. We've been doing it a long time, and we want to. The whole idea is to bring value to places. If any musician that you talk to, they're passionate about making sure that the places that they play obviously benefit, and this is why we're here.
Hopefully everybody enjoys coming back out and listening to some live music. We just haven't had any around here, so and we're excited. I mean, it's time. You know, we're moving forward, and I think we're just ready.
Binkley's hasn't yet posted who will be playing on the patio next. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, Alyssa. A little chilly for a patio this morning, you could say.
I would wait till the afternoon at least today. Temperatures starting in the 30s this morning. We have a frost advisory in effect for part of central Indiana. We will warm up pretty quickly today, 62 degrees for the high with some sunshine in the forecast. And then we are warming way up as we head through the rest of the week. We're back into the 70s. That's where we should be this time of year with plenty of sunshine on the way and dry conditions. Also looking like another nice weekend ahead.